In the last few chapters, we already mentioned a lot of these words. Die W-Wörter, the W words. But what are they and why do we need them? Let's find out. Die W-Wörter are words that start with a W, and we will use them to build a lot of different questions. So let's check out a few of the most important ones. Wer? Who? Wer ist das? Wer kommt zur Party? Wie? How? Wie geht's? Wie heißt du? How are you called, literally? Woher? Where from? Woher kommst du? Woher kommen Sie? Wo? Where? Wo bist du? Wo liegt Berlin? Was? What? Was ist das? Was machst du? Remember, if you don't hear someone what they said, it's pretty impolite to say was. Instead, better say wie bitte, which would mean excuse me or pardon. I think that this should be enough for now. There are a lot of them and they all sound quite similar, so we don't want you to mix them up. Besides that, some of them are false friends with some English words. False friends are words in different languages that sound or look the same but mean something completely different. Like for example here, wer sounds really similar as where, but it doesn't mean the same. So you really have to be careful. Try to answer the following questions. I will help you a little bit with answers and translations. Feel free to pause, speed up, or slow down the video. For example, wer ist das? Das ist DiCaprio. If you sometimes don't know the names of the people in the pictures, feel free to answer with ein Mann or eine Frau. Wie heißt er? Woher kommt er? Wo liegt Los Angeles? Was ist das? And here are the answers. Wie heißt er? Er heißt Leonardo Wilhelm DiCaprio. Yes, that's his full name. Did you know that DiCaprio is of German origin? His mother is German-born and his father is Italian and German. Woher kommt er? Er kommt aus Los Angeles. Wo liegt Los Angeles? Los Angeles liegt in dem US-Staat Kalifornien. Was ist das? Das ist ein Schiff oder das ist die Titanic. Mehr Übungen findest du auf 11%.xyz. Ich, du, wir. Let's learn the personal pronouns. In the last few chapters, we already mentioned some of the German pronouns. For example, ich, which means I. Notice that, unlike in English, we don't have to capitalize the pronoun ich. We also learned the pronoun for you, du. For example, in Wie heißt du? Or Woher kommst du? Let's also learn some others. Er means he. For example, das ist Peter. Er ist nett. Der Hund ist süß. Er ist süß. Sie means she. Das ist Ulrike. Sie kommt aus Deutschland. Die Katze spielt gerne. Sie spielt gerne. Es means it. Das ist ein Baby. Es weint viel. Das Pferd ist groß. Es ist groß. All clear? If yes, then let's move to the plural pronouns that we will use when talking about more than one person. Wir means we. Wir sind eine große Familie. Wir gehen oft zusammen ans Meer. Ihr is the plural you, like in you all or you guys. Ihr habt einen schönen Hund. Ihr zwei macht die besten Partys. We also have the plural sie, meaning they. Sie wohnen in Köln. Sie gehen zusammen ans Meer. So we have a lot of sie forms. The first one is sie, meaning she. The second one is the plural sie, meaning they. And as if that wasn't enough, we also have the third sie that we already talked about, the one written with a capital S and used for formal occasions. It can be used for singular, but also for plural. For example, wie heißen Sie? But it can also be used as Sie haben eine schöne Firma. Also, if you have a German textbook, you will often find sentences like schreiben Sie einen Text, write a text, or hören Sie und antworten Sie auf die Fragen. Listen and answer the questions. In German, we have two expressions, duzen and siezen, and they are derived from the pronouns du and sie. Duzen means to say du to someone. It means that you're friends or family or just close. Siezen means to use the formal capitalized Sie form with someone, and it's usual with people that you just meet or in the business world. If you become friends, you can start saying du to each other after a while. Sometimes you will hear the phrase du kannst mich duzen, meaning you can say you to me and address me more informally. Yay, you have a new friend! It may sound a little bit silly, but in Germany, it's a really important part of social life. So be careful and don't start saying du to someone unless they initiate it. Try to change the nouns from these sentences into pronouns. For example, der Junge heißt Peter. Er heißt Peter. Feel free to pause the video to write down the correct answers. You will see the solutions at the end. Der Hund ist im Garten. Er ist im Garten. Die Katze ist im Haus. Sie ist im Haus. Der Vogel ist auf dem Baum. Er ist auf dem Baum. Das Kaninchen isst Gemüse. Es isst Gemüse. Die Fische schwimmen. Sie schwimmen. Meine Schwester und ich haben viele Haustiere. Wir haben viele Haustiere. For more exercises, visit 11%.xyz. Enough with the easy stuff. Let's finally spice it up a little bit. In this lesson, we will learn the German present tense and a few verbs along the way. You may have noticed in the last few lessons that the verbs occasionally change their endings, depending on the person that they're referring to. For example, you would say, ich komme aus England, but also, du kommst aus England. The same thing happens in English as well, just on a much smaller scale. For example, you would say, I speak German, but also, she speaks German. See the little difference? In German, each and every person in singular and plural will have a different ending, and of course, they will not be the same across the different tenses. So for every tense, you will have to learn how it changes. So why not start with the present tense? It's really not difficult, and I always say that it's the equivalent of making spaghetti. Everyone can eventually learn how to do it, and after just a few tries, you don't even have to look at the cookbook anymore. So let's take a look at the recipe for the German present tense. How to make the German present tense. First of all, you will need a big, thick dictionary, freshly picked verbs. If it's your first time cooking German, take an easy one. And the correct present tense endings. For beginners, it's best to just learn them by heart. Additionally, you will need a sharp knife or scissors and some other words of your choice. Step 1. Take the big dictionary and pick a fresh verb. You can use the dictionary in the beginning stages if you still don't know all the verbs that you might want to use, or at more advanced stages when you will have to deal with crazy and irregular verbs. Although it's nice to have a big dictionary always by your side, and we all know how nice books smell, let's face it, it's not always very convenient. That's why there are luckily a lot of online dictionaries out there to choose from. For this demonstration, we will pick the verb kochen, to cook. If it struggles, just pull a little harder. There it is. You caught yourself a verb. Now what? We first need to trim it a little bit to make it ready for the present tense. That's where the scissors or knife come in. We have to cut off the infinitive ending. The what? The infinitive ending. When you take a fresh, unprocessed verb out of the dictionary, it will always look like this, with the infinitive ending en. And if you wish to do anything with the verb, you first have to cut it off. Don't worry, it's not painful at all. What you are left with is the so-called stem or base of the verb. Your verb is ready for the next step. Step 2. The verb cannot stay like this. It needs some endings. The endings for the present tense in German are e, st, t, n, t, n. The best thing is to just learn them by heart. So ich, meaning I, likes to have his verb ending in e. Du, meaning you, will have a verb with the ending st. He, she, and it, sie und es, like a simple t. The plural forms wir, we, and sie, they, and the formal sie with the capital S, like the ending en. And the plural you, ihr, also takes a simple t. Everything set? So one more time. E, st, t, n, t, n. E, st, t, n, t, n. Step 3. Sehr well. After a while, the endings should start to fuse with the stem. And you got your verb in the present tense. Ich koche, du kochst. Er, sie, es kocht. Wir kochen, ihr kocht, sie kochen. Voila! Step 4. Take the rest of the words you chose for your sentence and put them on the working surface. Determine which one is the subject, meaning the person, thing, or object that is doing something, and put it in the first place. Examine it carefully and decide which person it is. Is it I, or maybe plural? Carefully pick the right form of the verb and place it after the subject. If you have some other words left, arrange them after the verb. And that's it. Guten Appetit! Really not so difficult, right? Let's take a look at few more examples. Take the verb machen, to do or to make. So just like we saw, cut off the infinitive ending en. Attach the present tense endings e, stt, n, tn. Ich mache, du machst. Er, sie, es macht. Wir machen, ihr macht, sie machen. Easy as that. Let's try it again with a different verb. For example, kommen, to come. Cut off the infinitive ending en. Add the present tense endings e, stt, n, tn. Ich komme, du kommst. Er, sie, es kommt. Wir kommen, ihr kommt, sie kommen. Good job! Try to make the present tense of these verbs. Try to complete the sentences with the correct form of the verb. For more tips and tricks, visit 11%.xyz. I can't let you finish this unit without knowing these really important phrases. Why? Because they're the basis of a polite conversation and should be part of your everyday speech. The first one you need to know is Danke. Thank you. Du sprichst gut Deutsch. Danke. Dein Hund ist so süß. Danke. The second one is bitte. Bitte will be used like please. Kannst du mir bitte das Buch geben? Can you please give me the book? Oh, danke. Bitte can also be used as a response to Danke. Kannst du mir bitte das Buch geben? Danke, bitte. Bitte can also be used as here you are when handing something to someone. Kannst du mir bitte das Buch geben? Bitte. Danke. Danke can also often be enhanced with sehr or schön. Danke schön and danke sehr. And in that case, the bitte response will be similarly modified. Danke schön, bitte schön. Danke sehr, bitte sehr. Another way to respond to danke would be nichts zu danken, which would be literally translated as nothing to thank for. My friends told me that they find this response to sound rude to them because of the literal translation, but it's a perfectly normal response to danke. So no thanks are needed or you're welcome. Oh, danke schön. Nichts zu danken. And there is another cute phrase, gern geschehen, which would mean my pleasure, and it's also a good response to danke. Danke, gern geschehen. So whichever one you like the most. Bitte, bitte schön, nichts zu danken, gern geschehen. Just don't forget to reply to danke. Another two really important phrases are when you want to apologize for something. Tut mir leid means I'm sorry, and you can use it whenever you mess something up. Forgot to bring the thing that you promised? Tut mir leid. Scratched someone's car? Tut mir leid. Came too late to a meeting? Tut mir leid. Another one is Entschuldigung, which would mean I'm sorry. Accidentally pushed someone? Entschuldigung. And the polite version of it is Entschuldigen Sie. Entschuldigung can also be used as excuse me. Entschuldigung, können Sie mir bitte helfen? Excuse me, could you please help me? So now you know all the important phrases. Don't forget to be extra polite. It's part of the German way. Reply to these situations with the correct phrase. Sometimes more than one possible answer is correct. For more bite-sized German lessons, visit 11%.xyz.